Shanti mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you in today's session. So we are continuing our discussion on Ishopanishad. Yesterday we have seen text number 4 and 5. We began the section, new section. So what is the discussion in this section? Anyone can tell? Mantra 4 to 8. We have seen first 3 verses. Now what does the next section talk about? Who is Ishvara? Very nice. Who is Ishvara? Knowing Ishvara. So what do verse 4 and 5 signify in this topic? Who is Ishvara? Yes, Madhu.
Inconceivable.
Yes.
The topic we discussed yesterday, that how he is inconceivable.
Exactly. So first thing to understand when we talk about understanding Ishvara, or who is Ishvara, is that we understand that he cannot be understood. Right? That's the first thing is to be understood, right? Like that. So if somebody tells you, see, we are limited and God is unlimited, how can limited person know unlimited? It is impossible to know God. How will you answer? If someone says God is unlimited, you are limited, how can limited person know unlimited? So you can't know about God. Yes?
At least we are trying to know the God through the...
Yeah, so I'm saying your try is useless. You should not even try.
Through Shastras, we are recognizing the God.
Through Shastras, but are you limited or not?
Yeah, still limited.
So how can limited person understand unlimited? Yes, Prabhu. हाँ, बहुत अच्छे. हम लोग भले ही सीमित है, भगवान असीमित है, लेकिन अगर असीमित भगवान हमें प्रकट करना चाहते हैं स्वयं को, तो हो सकता है कि नहीं? So that is the process of Shastra, that's the process of... So if Lord wants to reveal, then what is not possible? Everything is possible. So we talked about this aspect. So how God and his energies are inseparable. So Prabhupada gave one example for this. Does anyone remember? How God and his energy is inseparable. Achintya Bhedaved we were discussing, in that we talked about one example. What is the example? Sun and the sun rays. Okay, very good. What more? Heat and energy compared to the sun. So sun and heat and energy, or sun and sunlight. These are the examples that are given. How the energy is non-different. Like sun is having the energy of heat or light. But still, so sun is there, sun has energy of heat and light. But both are inseparable, right? Can we imagine a sun without heat and light? ऐसा कुछ होता है क्या? So there is the sun, but no heat and no light. Like that. So it is inseparable. They cannot be separated. Or what is a sun without sunlight? Sun, but no sunlight. ऐसा होता है कभी कुछ? So they are separate. But still, there is difference also. Because I can say in my room, sunlight has come. Can I say in my room, sun has come? So you see, both the things are there. Difference also, this also. So this philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference is known by what name? What is this philosophy known of? oneness, and don't answer like that. You have to answer by raising hand. Okay. So what is this philosophy? What's the name of this philosophy? शक्तियों के साथ भगवान एक भी है और उनसे भिन्न भी है. अचिंत्य भेदा भेद. Very nice. Achintya bheda bhed. So bheda means difference, separation. Abheda means oneness. And how it is achintya. It is not inconceivable. It is inconceivable. It is not that easy to explain. We can see that. We can give some example, but still it is not fully conceivable that how God and his energies are one and the same. Simultaneously one and different. All right. So we talked about three kinds of people. When they look at the Maya, there are three responses. When somebody looks at material energy, so what are these three categories? Yes, Prabhu. ठीक है गुरु. क्या बोलते हैं भौतिकतावादी? भौतिक शक्ति को देख के
कुछ मेरे ईश्वर के लिए बना है, सब कुछ मेरे भोग के लिए बना है, इंद्रिय तृप्ति के लिए. और निराकारवादी बोलते हैं कि ये सब कुछ मिथ्या है, और भक्त बोलते हैं कि सब कुछ सब भगवान की संपत्ति है. बहुत अच्छे, बहुत बढ़िया. हरि बोल. तो इसके लिए हमने एक उदाहरण दिया, प्रभुपाद जी का उदाहरण. प्रभुपाद जी बहुत बढ़िया उदाहरण दिए इसके लिए. क्या उदाहरण दिए? कौन बता सकता है? इस उदाहरण को भी भूलना नहीं है माता जी. Wallet found out on the road. What is the example?
First person, he sees and he leaves and goes. That is materialist.
He leaves, huh?
He doesn't see it. It's not mine. And
is that materialist? Think over it. He is impersonalist. Materialist, what does he do? Very nice. And then final?
They see who it belongs to and see that it reaches them.
Correct. So who is the best person? The devotee. We said that, right? The materialist romanticize the world. The impersonalist demonize. Demonize means Maya. We don't want to touch it. That is demonization. Like that person who was giving photo. There was a lot of money on the table and Yogi was doing like that. So demonize. And devotees, what do they do? Utilize the world. Utility is the best principle. Best nahi, principle. Utility is the principle. Prabhupada taught four things. Purity is the force. Preaching is the essence. Books are the basis. Utility is the principle. So this everything using in Krishna's service, it is also known as Yukta Vairagya. This philosophy is known as Yukta Vairagya. So opposite to this is that impersonalist philosophy, which is Phalgu Vairagya. Phalgu. Jhuta Vairagya. There is one Phalgu river in Gaya. That's why the name comes from there. So that river flows in Gaya. So it's like sand. You see sand, but below the sand there is water. You don't see that. So, but when you go closer, then you see. Similarly, one may show great renunciation, sand-like renunciation, like that. But below the renunciation, we see that there is misunderstanding or there is this thing, attachment in different form. All right. So in this way, we see that the logic is insubstantial. Logic cannot take us to what we want to understand about the Supreme Lord this way. So someone may say that, right? Prabhupada, in the next verse, he talked about deity worship. Very important discussion we had on the deity worship, right? So someone may say, deity form is material. Deity's form or deity's constitution is material. So how is this Supreme Lord? So how will you answer him? अरे ये तो भौतिक चीज है, ये तो पत्थर से बने हैं या फिर like that.
Lord is so merciful that we can't perceive him in his inconceivable form. So he is so merciful that he comes in the form of deity as a materialistic material body, and he gives us this opportunity that we can serve him.
Correct. So that is very nice. So when he comes as a deity, does he have a material body or it is a spiritual body?
It is material body, but he is there in it, because that is
He's
also
there
given.
in it.
He is there. He is the.
He is the deity.
the-
Okay.
Bhagwan.
Correct. So you can say like this, that although Lord is manifesting in the form of matter, but he is spiritual, he is transcendental. So he's transformed his material energy into spiritual energy, like that. The constitution of our body and constitution of Krishna's body, what is the difference? Who can tell? Constitution, yes Prabhuji, बोलिए. उपादान बोलते हैं उसको हिंदी में. भगवान के शरीर का क्या उपादान है और हमारे शरीर का क्या उपादान है? भगवान के शरीर का क्या उपादान है? सच्चिदानंद. बहुत अच्छे. और हमारे शरीर का? हाँ, हमारा जो है वो अष्टधा प्रकृति से बना है. भूमि रापो नलो वायु आदि. भगवान का चित्त शक्ति से बना है. चित्त शक्ति भी दूसरा शब्द है उसके लिए. सच्चिदानंद या चित्त शक्ति बोलते हैं उसको. ऐसे तो ये दोनों में अंतर है. तो जैसे कि माता जी ने कहा, even though Lord comes in the form of matter, but he remains transcendental, because that's how his inconceivable potency is. We heard about that one example given by Pillai Lokacharya. What is the example?
Elephant.
Elephant. Yes.
The boy.
Yeah.
So the boy wants to climb on the elephant, but it's tall, so he cannot climb. But the elephant bends down and allows the boy to climb.
Very nice.
Then the boy can.
Correct. So when the elephant is sitting down, still elephant is in full glory. It's
Yeah.
not elephant has become somewhat lost in its glory. No, it is still the same elephant. So similarly, Lord also. Someone may say, "Arey, your deity cannot protect when some rat is taking bhoga. And what it will protect me?" हाँ? तो ये कैसे भगवान है जो खुद के भोग की भी रक्षा नहीं कर सकते? So what he will protect me? How will you answer such a person if he says like this? कौन बोलना चाहेगा? Yes, प्रभु जी. बिल्कुल. तो फिर वो भगवान है कि नहीं है? भगवान तो है, लेकिन वो आपको प्रयोजन भी जानना पड़ेगा. किसके लिए आए? प्रयोजन वो आपकी सेवा करने के लिए नहीं आए. वो सेवा दे आपसे सेवा लेने के लिए आए. नहीं तो आप बोलोगे फिर भगवान को ही सेवा में लगाओगे. तो अर्च विग्रह की सेवा ठीक से नहीं हो रही है, तो ये तो पुजारी का काम है, पुजारी का कर्तव्य है. हाँ, ये भगवान का रूप जो है, इट हैज नॉट कम टू शो omnipotence, it has come to offer service. That's the point. Like that. So this is why one should always serve and protect deity. That is pujari's work. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that 3 kinds of deity worshippers are seen in this world. Does anyone remember 3 kinds of deity worshippers? You know, I see the same hands.
Jadmaya, Manomaya, and third one is Chinmaya.
Chinmaya. What are they? Explain.
Jadmaya means full of matters, and Manomaya means one who just worship in the mind itself. One can
Worship in the mind. Is that the understanding? Devotees also worship in the mind. Panchopasa.
Panchopasa
Hmm.
people. They are in
What is their conception?
yeah.
Okay, someone else can answer. You answered that rightly. 3 kinds of categories. You just have to explain it precisely.
So judgment is the worship, the person who worships the Lord but thinks him as a statue.
Statue.
Yeah.
And Anoma is the person who worships the Lord but think it as a symbol of worship. And Chinmaya is that the devotees who think that deity is not different than the Lord himself.
Correct. So devotees come into which category?
Chinmaya.
Chinmay category. Smartas or Panchopasak people come in which category?
Manoman.
And then others are there, some who think deity as just statue. For them, it doesn't matter. Just some sort of form they think that it should be worshipped. That's it. Like that. So this is how. So we talked about these aspects yesterday, and now we will proceed. So now the Ishopanishad speaks in next few verses, 6 and 7. It talks about so what to do to get the knowledge of Ishvara. What is that vision by which we can get the knowledge of Ishvara? Right? We began with the section 4 and 5. Who is, how to understand that Ishvara or who is that Ishvara? So first step we said in that is, first you recognize that Ishvara can only be understood by revelation. He is Achintya. So now the next two verses they are talking about. So when a great devotee or Mahabhagavat, when he sees the Lord, how does he see? What is that vision? So if we understand that vision, then we will also cultivate. Okay, this is how I can also aspire to see the Lord, perceive the Lord. This way. So you see, the point is the process is being spoken here now. Process kya hai? First we spoke about proprietorship, then benefit of following proprietorship, then loss of not following the proprietorship Ishavasya principle. Then we say, okay, let's understand this Ishvara now. So then we talked about Achintyatva of that Ishvara. Now the next two verses talk about, okay, so what is the consciousness or what is the vision of a great devotee or a Mahabhagavata towards the Supreme Lord? You have a question? No question. Okay. All right. So let's see this now. So mantra 6 and 7, vision of a Mahabhagavat. You can write. Vision of a Mahabhagavat. You take this PPT today from me and then you can all share it amongst yourself. You see, verse 6 and 7. Spiritual vision of a Mahabhagavat. And then how Mahabhagavat understands the Ishvara, the qualities of Ishvara, they are mentioned over here. So today we will see these three verses, 6, 7, 8. This section gets completed today. And then in tomorrow's section, very similar verses are 9 to 11, 12 to 14. So they will be finished. They will get completed tomorrow. This one section will remain, which we will take on in an online session. And there will be exam after that. So in tomorrow's session, I will also speak about the exam, which questions you should prepare for, and all that stuff. The most loved part of assessment, the exam, See, one time one student came to me and he said, Prabhuji, I like everything about Bhakti Shastri except the assessment. He said, Prabhuji, why assessment? We should be actually rendering service unconditionally and unmotivatedly, right? So this phala, this fruit of exam, that is actually stopping our pure devotional service. I said, you can please go this and tell to Prabhupada because he is the one who designed and we follow Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the one who gave the program as it is with assessment. So actually assessment is good. It will check, at least it will make us revise what we have studied. Otherwise we will not open it, for ages this way. So this is mantra 6 now. So this is a very clear topic now, very simple and straightforward purport. Prabhupada talks about three kinds of adhikari. Kanishta adhikari, Madhyam adhikari, Uttam adhikari. And he says, we should at least be on the platform of Madhyam adhikari as devotees. Madhyam Adhikari is the platform where a sadhaka should strive to come on that platform. That's all. He ends the discussion by saying that, so a devotee is one with the Lord in the interest. He is not one with the Lord absolutely. He is one with the Lord in terms of the interest. He has the same desire that the Lord has in the sense of pleasing the Supreme Lord. So he's aligned in his desire. That's the vision of a Mahabhagavat. That's the vision of even a Madhyam Adhikari for that matter. We'll see that. So he tells us finally to develop that vision if we want to understand Ishvara. So if we want to understand Ishvara, we have to develop this vision. That's the purpose of this verse, to tell you, 6 and 7. Then we will be able to understand the Supreme Lord. Okay. So Kanishta Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, this discussion you might have heard also before. Let's now analyze it here. So this is mantra 6. Let's recite together. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Once more. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. All right, read translation.
He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any bigger.
Yeah. So this topic is coming here as the consciousness that we have to develop if we want to understand the Supreme Lord. This is the standard. This is how a Mahabhagavat, he sees the Supreme Lord, or the fundamental level of consciousness that is there here. It's shown by Madhyamadhikari or also Uttamadhikari. So he is the one who systematically sees everything in relation to Supreme Lord. This material energy, how do we see in relation to Supreme Lord? How is this in relation to Supreme Lord? What will you say? This material energy. It is.
You give an example yesterday about electricity.
Hmm.
Pumping electricity, there are various different energies are made, and the electricity can be used for different kind of.
Correct. I agree. But if I say this material energy, so as soon as I say material energy, how will you connect it to Krishna? For what purpose this material energy is there?
In his service.
Yes.
For the jivas to sustain in this body.
Okay. For Krishna has given this material energy so that we can utilize and sustain in this world. And what do we do by sustaining? Yes.
To elevate to the God consciousness.
Yeah, to elevate ourselves to the Krishna consciousness. See, seeing everything in connection to Krishna, I am trying to make you think over this. As soon as you see a man or a woman, how will you see that person in connection to Krishna? Anyone?
Paramatma, heart and parcel. We have Paramatma.
Yes, there is Paramatma in everyone's heart, right? And this particular soul is the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So as soon as you think that it is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, what should be the next thing? Okay, he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Okay, ठीक है, आप अपने मार्ग जाओ, I'll start walking on my own. You walk on your own way. Is that the thing? When we say someone, well, this person is actually energy of the Lord. This person is part and parcel of the Lord. What should be the next thing in the mind?
Yeah, because we might have been forgetful about the God's connection. So we
Yeah.
try to bring him to connect him to the God.
Okay, yes, bro.
You gave a wonderful analogy about a beggar and how if you are just supplying him the food, there was a
challenge that was.
Correct. Yeah.
And then how Srila Prabhupada said that if you are giving him Krishna consciousness, that he can definitely utilize his, transform his life.
Correct.
But
Yes.
if you're just giving him the food, that food he can
Be hungry for some time and again he'll be hungry.
And then you give an example of few boys when the internet was given to him, how
Correct,
they were
correct.
exploited. And
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
again, that's how we can connect it with the jiva as well.
Correct. See, basically, whenever you see something in this world, no, seeing in connection with Krishna means that we want to use it in Krishna's service. This is meant for Krishna, so this should be used in Krishna's service. No? As soon as you see the connection, your enjoying mentality will go away. You know, you see a very beautiful, a man sees a very beautiful woman. As soon as he thinks that she is actually servant of Krishna, so she should be engaged in Krishna's service, immediately the other negative aspect would go away. Or as soon as you see great wealth, and you see actually this should be used in Krishna's service. It is Krishna's energy. So you see immediately the attachment will, go away from the mind, and one will see with a purity of intention. This is actually meant for Krishna's service, like that. So when we talk about seeing everything in connection with Krishna, that's the consciousness, that we see it as something meant for service of Krishna. So as soon as devotee sees a beautiful flower, what does he think? Yes, bro.
You can pluck it and offer it to the Lord.
Yeah. And a materialist will say, as soon as he sees a good flower, he will say, "Arey, take it." Like that. But a devotee will think, "Oh, such a beautiful flower. Let me take it and offer on the lotus feet of Krishna, Radharani, Gaurnitai." So this is how. So this consciousness is being spoken over here. One who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. So that can be material energy, that can be spiritual energy, that can be marginal energy, man, woman, wealth, resources, whatever it is in this world. One sees the potential to serve Krishna, and if one can engage in that, one feels that that's the best utilization, like that. So that's why when a devotee is seeing beautiful things of this world, Prabhupada would travel everywhere and he would explore the places. And Prabhupada would go any place he was a very curious person also. He would ask a lot of things, Prabhupada. He would inquire about everything, why it's like this, why, okay, then what's the history, and, that way. So any person who would be like very much interested to speak to him, because he saw him as a person who had a lot of curiosity, and he asked a lot of questions, wanted to know, and then connected it very wonderfully to spiritual life. He was like that sort of person. So when a devotee is seeing everything in this world, somebody like Prabhupada is seeing everything in this world, he wants to see it for connecting it to Krishna, so that everything can be used in Krishna's service. Like that. Prabhupada, first time in USA, he saw a flatbed truck, trucks which have a flat bed in US and all. First time he saw. I mean, those flatbed trucks, you have seen huge ones, like that. And we also see flatbed trucks so many times, right? What thought crosses in our mind? Maybe they're carrying some engines on this or like that or whatever. As soon as Prabhupada saw the flatbed truck, he said, "Oh, we should have Rath Yatra." Rath Yatra, immediately he thought about it. So they procured the flatbed truck. Within 2 months, there was Rath Yatra. San Francisco Rath Yatra, Prabhupada, like that. So his eyes actually just saw everything for the service of Krishna. So that's the consciousness of the Mahabhagavata. For us, we are like, we see, okay, this is for Krishna's service and this is mine. Right? This is for me, this is for Krishna's service. We may not be able to see everything for Krishna's service. This is my quota, which is appropriate. One can have one's quota. But basically, the consciousness is that actually everything belongs to Krishna only. It is basically his. Everything is his. It's just that he has given me, ordained me everything for serving him. So, I mean, for maintaining my family so that I can serve him. I can continue to serve. So, especially when we are living in this world, no, we have to cultivate this sort of consciousness that actually Lord is the owner of my house. I am a tenant here. He is the owner. That's how huge, big kings had that consciousness. They used to worship the Lord as actual king, and I'm the servant or senapati of that king. Like that. That sort of consciousness they would have. So this is how, even in while living in this world, we cultivate this particular consciousness that actually Krishna is the proprietor. Everything belongs to him, and I of course need something for my quota. So Krishna is offering that, and I'm trying to utilize it so that I can continue to serve this way. Who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels? You see, he sees material energy, he wants to utilize in Krishna's service. He sees marginal energy, the jivas, he wants to utilize them in Krishna's service. Like that. See, the same thing, Chanakya speaks about this, that same thing. Hare Krishna. It's working?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna. Just see what happened. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Okay. So seeing all living entities as his part and parcels, seeing everything in relation to Supreme Lord, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything. How do you see Supreme Lord within everything? How is Supreme Lord within everything? Yes. What does that mean? Speak the concept.
The Lord is in the form of every each and particles.
Yeah, in the form of, which form is that?
Paramatma.
That's the Paramatma form. Very nice. So, seeing the Supreme Lord within everything is actually seeing that Paramatma is everywhere. He is in everyone's heart. So, as soon as you remember that aspect, no, you see the enjoying mentality will go away. So, that's why this consciousness is being told to be cultivated, that one sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. So this sort of consciousness, in order to cultivate this, these three adhikaris are spoken. Kanishtha adhikari, then Madhyam adhikari, and Uttam adhikari. So Prabhupada speaks these concepts on the basis of verses from the 11th canto. 11th canto, these three adhikaris have been mentioned. Three kinds of devotees are mentioned. So first amongst them is Kanishta adhikari. So you see what is his characteristic. Yes, please read this highlighted portion. The Supreme Lord's presence.
The Supreme Lord's presence. The Supreme Lord's presence is realized in three stages. The Kanishta Adhikari is in the lower stage of realization.
Lowest.
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes to a place of worship such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worship there according to his scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at place of worship and know where they cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another.
Yeah. So these are the lowest category of devotees, and they are called Kanishtha Kanishtha is the lowest, you know that. So what is their characteristic? You see, their defining characteristic is that they think that Lord is only in the temple and he is not anywhere else. So they are not able to see Lord's presence apart from the temple deity anywhere else. They are not able to see that that same Lord resides in the heart of everyone as Paramatma. So if you see Lord only within the temple and not in the heart of other people or not in the heart of devotees, so what will be a natural effect of that? Can anyone tell? If you see the Lord only in the deity and you don't see it in the heart of the devotees, so what will be a natural effect of that, Maharaj? Very nice. So then such a person will not give regard to the Vaishnavas. Huh? Yeah, so because you don't recognize Vaishnavas, if you don't respect Vaishnavas, so what will most likely happen is he may offend Vaishnavas. Because you don't see that same Lord is also there in the heart of devotees and all. His conception is Bhagavan kidhar hai? Ah, udhar mandir mein. Apart from that, he doesn't have that knowledge, he doesn't have that much understanding. So when devotees come or like that, then he may not respect them. But as a Vaishnava, the true Vaishnava, as soon as he sees another Vaishnava, what do we do? We do pranam. Huh? Why do we do pranam? Why do we offer obeisances when we see a Vaishnava? Who can tell?
We see a Lord in
We see
Lord.
Lord in him. Yeah, we see the Lord in his heart. Yes. Anyone else? Why do we offer Vaishnava obeisance?
Because the Vaishnavas are spreading the name of the Lord, they are preaching, they are serving the Lord, and they are dear to the Lord.
They are dear to the Lord. Very nice. Because they are dear to the Lord. They are doing so many things, serving, chanting and all, but all because of that, they are dear to the Lord. So, Prabhupada would quote that British proverb, love me, love my dog. Huh? Love me, and if you kick my dog, then what will happen? Like that. So, especially in the Western world and all, right? The dog is like, people have a great love for dogs sometimes than even the person who is near to them. So, if you offend a person and if you offend somebody who is dear to him, in what case person will be very angry? Sometimes we may offend a person and then you offend a very dear person to that particular person. Like simple example, the father is there and one may slap the father. What if one slaps the child? Father will be more angry or he will say, "ठीक है, मुझे नहीं मारा बच्चे को." No problem. So the child, of course, I'm here saying that if somebody is doing it for some proper action in order to teach something, that's not the scenario I'm saying. The scenario where if one, hurts who is beloved of that person, then the person may be even more angry. So similarly, that's there with the Lord also. So when you respect his devotees, he becomes extremely pleased. When you offend his devotee, he becomes extremely angry. Much more than if you please him directly or you offend him directly. He may not get so much angry when we offend him because he knows that's their nature. But if the devotees are offended, then he becomes very angry. Same way with the glorification aspect. We may glorify Lord, but when we glorify devotees, he becomes very, very happy. This way. So that's the aspect we see. But because these Kanishtadhikaris, they don't understand the glory of devotee, they don't understand that the Lord is in everyone's heart. So they don't show any respect to the devotees. They are only there, Hey Bhagwan. So wonderful. But then when Vaishnavas come, they're like, who cares? That way, that sort of thing. So that's typically a Kanishtadhikari. You can understand that. He does not understand the value of the Vaishnavas, right? Yes, Prabhu.
So we can understand in this way as well that the reason Kanishka doesn't understand this stage or level of Vaishnava because he is not informed, uninformed. And once he is informed about this level, then he moves into the different level.
Exactly. It is like that. That's what. So keeping oneself at the level of ignorance, because of which one falls in the category of then Kanishtadhikari. If you educate and he accepts and starts behaving properly, then he is no longer a Kanishtadhikari, moves to the Madhyamadhikari level, like that. So it's just that the qualification is being done in terms of this, because sometimes you may find some smart Vaishnavas. They are very fondly worshipping the deity, but they don't understand this principle of that Vaishnavas are also very, very important. It's not that only the deity is important, but Vaishnavas are also important. So that level is of Kanishtadhikari over there, this way. And typically, Bhakti Samrit Sindhu says that these people, he says, Bhupa Goswami, that Kanishtadhikari, see, we can judge them in terms of faith and knowledge. These three adhikaris, no? Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. Okay, so what about Kanishtadhikari's faith? Can anyone tell? Such a person, his faith in Krishna consciousness is very strong faith, or is it a weak faith?
Weak faith.
Weak faith, actually. His faith, he has faith in the deity, but it is very weak. Like if you argue, or if some atheist argues with a Kanishtadhikari, he can convince him very easily that this is all bogus, and then he'll give up worship. Kanishta. That's a Kanishta. If he comes in association with some Nastika, atheistic person, then he will say, yes, yes, it makes sense. I will stop the worship from tomorrow.
Convert.
So, converts. So faith is very weak. That's a Kanishta. How about knowledge? A Kanishtadhikari's knowledge is what?
So less.
It is very less. It is not complete. It is incomplete knowledge. So because he has incomplete knowledge, in a way we can say that his faith is also weak. Like that. Because knowledge also contributes to the faith. So then we come to the Madhyamadhikari level, where the faith is very, very strong. It's unflinching, in fact. You cannot, break the faith of a Madhyamadhikari. But when it comes to the knowledge, whether that knowledge, it is certainly better than Kanishtadhikari. But does Madhyamadhikari have complete knowledge?
No.
So some of you may know this idea already. So he does not have, he has incomplete knowledge. It is certainly greater than this person, Kanishtadhikari, but still it is not complete knowledge about such a person may have some misunderstanding or may have some doubts about the scriptures. And finally, this is Uttamadhikari, where the faith is unflinching and knowledge is complete. Okay. So Uttamadhikari has unflinching faith. You can't shake that faith. Just a minute. Same way as Madhyamadhikari also. This strong or unflinching faith is a common characteristic between two. But the knowledge of Madhyamadhikari is not complete. He is yet to have complete knowledge, while Uttamadhikari has complete knowledge. So Shraddha and Jnana, or faith and knowledge, you can see this is how they are placed actually. So that's why the best platform for sadhaka is that he should be here in Madhyamadhikari level at least. And he should not be a Kanishta, where he has a very weak faith and he has also incomplete knowledge. We should have good amount of scriptural knowledge, although we may not have complete knowledge, but good amount, and the faith should be very strong. So when that faith is very strong, unflinching, such a person cannot be convinced by atheists or anyone to give up the process of bhakti. He will be that strong. You can't convince such a person to give up the process of bhakti by some very powerful scholar, but still he will not give up the faith of bhakti. That's called a Madhyamadhikari. Like that. Why? Because of the association, because of Guru's grace, because of Vaishnavas around, such a person has developed that strong faith in bhakti process. But as far as Uttamadhikari is concerned, you cannot defeat him only. He only will defeat everyone. If the atheist comes and tries to argue, he will convince atheists to practice bhakti. Huh? So great Mahabhagavad devotees are like that. And they will convince anyone. They have that power to convince anyone to do like that, right? So their unflinching faith and they have complete knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So those are the two categories that are upcoming. Yes, but what was the question?
How can Anjali can have complete knowledge regarding the God or regarding the practice?
Complete knowledge about Supreme Lord.
Because even
Yeah.
he said that
Correct.
one cannot know the
Yes.
God glories completely,
Yeah.
even if we like how much he may be about, because he is
Understand. See, when we say about complete knowledge, what is that? Complete knowledge means basically that knowledge by which one can attain the spiritual world. That is called complete knowledge. One is free from all the doubts or principles to go back home, back to Godhead. As you said, nobody can know Lord completely. Is it possible? Who can know Lord completely? Even God himself doesn't know himself completely. That is our philosophy actually. See, Krishna was feeling that what is that sweetness in me that Radharani all the time, she's like mad for me. So I don't understand what is that sweetness in me. So in order to experience that sweetness, Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So literally, Krishna's beauty or his transcendental characteristics, they are going on increasing every moment, every single moment. So literally, forget about somebody else understanding Krishna's full glory. Gaudiya Vaishnavas say even Lord himself doesn't understand full glory of his. Because as soon as he understands, oh, now I understood, I am this much beautiful, his beauty has increased. It keeps on increasing continuously, continuously. For eternity, it is increasing and it is going on increasing like that. One time Krishna was there in Dwaraka and he was walking. And then there was a jeweled pillar. There was a pillar which was made up of jewels. So you could see his reflection. And then he saw in the pillar, there was such a beautiful person in that pillar. And he saw, who is this person? I want to meet him. Then he realized that is his reflection. The Supreme Lord's reflection.
We can say Srimati Radharani exactly knows who the Lord is.
Who?
Who the Lord is, like
Yeah.
what is his qualities and know the Lord.
Correct, correct. So how we can say, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with the bhava of Radharani. Huh? Why he comes with that bhava? Because she is the one who understands the highest. She understands it the most. What is the sweetness of the Lord? Huh? That understanding is not with anyone in this world. Only she understands that. Below that, some little understanding than that other devotees have, and we also have some understanding at our level. But what Srimati Radharani knows, Krishna's sweetness and all that, in order to show that to the whole world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with the same bhava. That's why he takes that particular complexion also in this way. So yes, Prabhu, who can know about Supreme Lord fully? No one can know, certainly. But those that much knowledge by which one is convinced, he can convince others, and one can go back home, back to Godhead. That is called complete knowledge. Yeah. That is good enough. That much knowledge. But if we are confused on those principles also, then it's not considered a complete knowledge. Mm. Can we, like, whenever somebody comes arguing against Krishna conscious philosophies, sometimes we may be able to defeat that person, sometimes we may not be able to defeat also. But that's not the case with Uttam Adhikari. Uttam Adhikari is thoroughly aware of all. He speaks to Mayavadis, he can defeat them. He speaks to atheists, he can defeat them. He speaks to Karmakandis, he can defeat them. He has the complete knowledge of what is bhakti process, karma, gyan, yoga, all these technical details or the process of bhakti. That's very clear to him. This way. So that's why Uttam Adhikari is considered to be the highest stage of bhakti. So one is, yes, Mataji.
You have said that faith in Madhyam Adhikaris is strong and
Yeah.
Uttam Adhikari unflinching.
You
What
both-
is the difference?
Both are same actually.
That
Both are
Madhyam-
same. Yeah, you can say both. I just used first strong word and then I wrote unflinching. So instead of writing strong, you write unflinching. Both have unflinching. It is unshakable faith. Okay. So that's how they are. So, but it's just that one is having the ability to also convince others or convince anyone, everyone, while the Kanishta Adhikari doesn't. So the characteristic of Kanishta Adhikari as per 11th canto is that one who is actually seeing the Lord in the deity, but he doesn't see the Lord's presence in the people, in devotees and all that. So that's why his respect is only for the Supreme Lord who is in the form of deity. But you see, now second category is very, very important because that's the relevant category for sadhaka. So please read this.
Those who have attained the second stage of realization are called Madhyama Adhikari. These devotees observe the distinctions between four categories of being: the Supreme Lord, the devotees of the Lord, the innocent who have no knowledge of the Lord, and the atheists who have no faith in the Lord and hate those in devotional service. The Madhyama Adhikari behaves differently toward these four classes of person. He adores the Lord, considering him the object of love. He makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He tries to awaken the dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent, and he avoids the atheist who derides the very name of the Lord.
Yeah. See, all these verses are from Bhagavatam. If you want the number, I'm putting here number. So please,
11 to 47.
yeah, 11 to 47. For the reference of others, you please tell. 11 to 40. Yeah. So those are the references. 11 to 47. That's for Kanishta. Archayam eva haraye. So that is Kanishta. Yeah. 45 this. So please note these references. Prabhupada's entire explanation is coming from there. 11 to 45, 11 to 46, 11 to 47. These are the verses, right? Like the next verse, Madhyamadhikari is Ishware tadadhineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha Prema Maitri Krupo Peksha Yah Karoti Sama. That's the definition that he is speaking over here, like that. So now this is the Madhyam Adhikari, the second category. What are these? So they discriminate. They look at the people and they are able to see four categories of people. So one is Supreme Lord, then the devotees of the Lord, then third are the innocent people. They are like they are innocent, they are not envious. And fourth one, they are dvishatsu, dvesh karne wale. They are the atheistic people or the people who have hatred towards the Supreme Lord. So now, looking at these four people, there is a different response of Madhyam Adhikari. So what is the response? We will see. Madhyam Adhikari now, we are seeing how a Madhyam Adhikari behaves. So Madhyam Adhikari, he comes across, there are these four categories. One is Supreme Lord. Then devotees. Innocent people. And fourth one, atheists or envious people. When a Madhyam Adhikari, he sees the Supreme Lord, or he basically, how does he deal with the Supreme Lord? Prema. He serves the Supreme Lord with great love. Prema. What was Kanishta Adhikari doing with Supreme Lord? Was he serving him or not?
Yes.
He was also serving Kanishta Adhikari. But he may not be able to serve with Prema like this Madhyam Adhikari. But he also has devotion. Some devotion he has. That's how the characteristic was defined. Archayam eva haray. Ya shraddhaya ihate. He worships the deity with some faith, no doubt. Not as much as Madhyam Adhikari, but with some. But when devotees, they are seen by a Madhyam Adhikari, or when he is dealing with devotees, what does he do?
Maitri.
Maitri. This is the characteristic now. Maitri. He becomes a friend of devotee, friendship. He serves them out of great friendship. He knows that these are the people who are very, very dear to the Lord. Friendship. What was Kanishta Adhikari doing with devotees? He has nothing to do with devotees. A devotee had taken by whatever. He is only interested in the Lord. He doesn't have anything to do with devotees. There are some people like that, right? You must have seen in temples also. Typically, we would see that on Sunday people will come and then they will bow down in front of the Lord. And then they want to immediately leave. Some devotees calling, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He would be like, I am fine, please leave me alone. It's like that. Of course, sometimes they might have got some bad experience. Devotee bula raha hai, matlab abhi he is not going to leave. He will either give book, or he will give BTG magazine, or he will say at least give some donation, like that. But whatever, but sometimes they are just like ignorant, basically. I came in temple, I got darshan of the Lord, okay. Who else is to be seen or met with? And he doesn't understand that in the temple of the Lord, along with Lord, there is one very important person. Who is that?
Vaishnava.
Vaishnava, devotee, Srila Prabhupada, devotee basically. So that he doesn't understand. So immediately wants to leave from there. But that's not how Madhyam Adhikari. When it comes to devotees, he becomes a friend of devotees. And that friendship is characterized by service, by affection, by all these characters. So, भक्तों के साथ मैत्री, भगवान के साथ प्रेम. अच्छा, when he sees the innocent people, what does he do?
Kripa.
Kripa. He has very compassionate or merciful nature. Mercy. Kripa. When he sees people, somebody doesn't know about God consciousness and all that. So, what does he do? He shares Krishna consciousness. He is very merciful to them. People who are innocent. They may be ignorant also, innocent and ignorant people, though he has a nature of being compassionate or merciful to them. And finally, Dushatsu, envious. How does he deal with them?
Upeksha.
Upeksha. Upeksha means what?
Ignore.
Ignore or neglect. So if somebody is envious, then Madhyamadhikari may neglect such people, ignore them. Why? Because he doesn't want them to. Yes, he's already in Ram Navami consciousness. So, a Madhyamadhikari, you see, so we see that a Madhyamadhikari, when it comes to envious, he does upeksha, he ignores them. Because what will happen if we don't ignore those who are envious? If we start fighting them, what will happen with the envious people? If you continue to fight them, then they will become more offensive. So he says that if I stay away from them, ignore them, then I can save them from further offenses. This is his nature. And that is why he doesn't deal with the people who are envious people. He does upeksha. Because if you start talking with them, arguing with them, then it will go on increasing. So then the person will offend the devotees and all. So because Madhyamadhikari knows, I don't want this person to offend Krishna. So he stays away from envious people. So this is a discrimination that should be seen in a Madhyamadhikari's life. So for a sadhaka, this is the best platform actually to act. When we see people who are very innocent and they can take up Krishna consciousness, we happily offer them Krishna consciousness. And when we see people who are envious, who have a lot of trouble with Krishna consciousness and all that, we stay away from them so that they are saved from further criticism or downfall or like that. If you see some scope that, okay, person may be envious, but then you see some scope that if his ideas are clarified, then the person may uplift. Then one may be able to. So there is some judgment there, no doubt about it. But one sees that consistently somebody is envious of Krishna consciousness or devotees. It's best to stay away from such a person, And then we say that maybe Krishna has his own plans over a period of time. Person may change or he may not change also. It's okay. No problem. It's not a concern if somebody is very much envious, then one will not be able to transform the heart. See, that kind of power who has, even the envious person can be transformed by him. Uttamadhikari has that power. Madhyamadhikari is not able to do that. Uttamadhikari can have power. Even envious person he can change. Because that's how he is, like full knowledge, full faith, everything. This way. Prabhupada also in his life, so many times. People came in full mood of arguing or fighting with devotees, and just one interaction with Prabhupada, and they started chanting Hare Krishna, immediately, like that. Why? Because that sort of great devotion, that power he had. So it is best that, especially these two categories, innocent and atheists, these are very, this should be carefully handled, because those who are innocent people, we must give them Krishna consciousness because they are the best candidates to take it up. While the envious or atheistic people, if we disturb them too much, then they may cause trouble for our God consciousness, right? Upadesho hi murkhanam प्रकोपाय न शांत, ये इट इज सेड. अगर मूर्ख व्यक्ति को उपदेश किया या द्वेषी व्यक्ति को उपदेश किया तो वो शांत होने की बजाय और गुस्सा हो जाता. लाइक वन टाइम two birds, two sparrows, they were making a nest. And then one monkey was there. He said that, and these monkeys are known for the very much mischievous, right? Hopping around and destroying. Monkeys can do a lot of destruction, if you know, right? They're known for destroying. We experienced that in Vrindavan, Govardhan. You keep anything, they'll just destroy the whole thing. So this monkey, he saw the sparrows there making a nest. So he went and said to the sparrow, "Why you are making a nest?" So they said, "No, no, we are making a home for us because monsoon is coming," like that. So he said, "But why you have to make a home? Do you see, I just, very wonderfully, I jump from this tree to another and all. I enjoy my life. Why you're making the nest and all?" But sparrow said, "No, no, no. See, when monsoon comes, then, all our offsprings and all, they should be in a proper nest. Otherwise, they will be getting wet and all. So you should also build a nest." They started telling to the monkey, "You should also find a good shelter for the monsoon. Don't waste your time going around, jumping around and all." So the monkey got so angry, he came and ripped apart their nest. He broke all the nest completely. So, upadesho hi murkhanam. If you do, you have to know whom to do upadesh also, right? Upadesh means instruction, you understand? Whom to instruct also we should be knowing. Otherwise, he will do a lot of damage to us. So, a Madhyamadikari understands that envious person should not be offered much upadesh. And you see he's very envious, you stay away, Hare Krishna. Right. This way. Otherwise, then we see that they can become extremely this thing. So innocent people, ignorant or innocent people, they are the best candidates for accepting Krishna consciousness. Somebody may be argumentative, but just see, envious is a very high degree. It's not just somebody arguing and all that. Envious is somebody who wants that this Krishna consciousness and this activity should be stopped. They should not flourish. A person who is very much having that attitude of destruction. So such a person, we should stay away. As a Madhyamadikari, it's told that one should stay away. You had a question?
Yes, Guruji. How does Kanishta Adhikari behave with the innocent and envious?
See, as far as innocent or envious people are concerned, for him, basically, somebody apart from Supreme Lord doesn't matter much. Oftentimes, with envious person, he will pick up quarrel and they will fight also. Like that. With innocent person or ignorant person, they might talk about some innocent, ignorant stuff like that. Because he is not knowledgeable, no? So such a person, how he will behave with other categories is like, he does not respect devotees because he doesn't understand that Vaishnava should be respected. As far as innocent and envious are concerned, because he himself is at a lower state of consciousness. So Prabhupada writes, no, oftentimes they pick up quarrels and all that, right? Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another and all. So these are like materialistic devotees and devotees, but those who have very materialistic kind of ideas. That person. All right. Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
They handle the non-devotee who are envious to us and also devotee who then.
Yeah. See, if non-devotees who are envious to us, then best is to stay away from them. We don't see, if we don't have to deal with them, it's best that we don't deal with them.
But you meet them on your routine life or you can say
So, yeah, so we can keep it to routine. No? Don't bring up the topic of Krishna consciousness. If it is routine, if it's profession, we keep it to profession. Like that. So still sometimes they may poke us. So we can tolerate like that. But in many times in work life and all, if we just keep it to the professional level, then that's it. It gets sorted because we are not talking about anything personal beliefs and all that in that manner. As far as devotees are concerned, if there is envy amongst the devotees and all, yes, that is a very important question. and very relevant question. So actually, when there is envy amongst the devotees, envy is like, something, it is said that it burns oneself. It's like a hot potato. So you are holding it. Holding envy is like very hot potato you are holding in your palm. And you are looking at someone. But who is holding the palm? Who is holding the potato? You. So who is going to get burned? You are only going to get burned. We are thinking about others, but then what happens is the person who is envious, he hurts himself. So for Vaishnavas, first characteristic, in fact, of Vaishnavas is he is trying to give up envy. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam nirmatsara. Like that. So Matsara, that's the characteristic which has taken us away from Krishna. So that's why a devotee, he wants to get rid of Matsara. So what is the best way if we feel or if we are dealing with some envious devotee or like that? So Mahaprabhu says that from the same mouth by which we are criticizing a devotee out of envy, or we are hearing that devotee's criticism out of envy, with the same mouth we glorify that devotee, we appreciate that devotee. So this takes some sort of courage, and it takes some mental stability. It's best that when you have somebody you feel that he is envious, go and talk to him directly. Let's go and talk. If that's the feeling, so go talk and discuss. What happens? Why do devotee relationship get spoiled? I feel that he is envious of me. I go and talk to third fellow. Then he talks to his friend. Then he talks to his friend. And then this person comes to know from 3-4 people. And then you can imagine whole misunderstanding like that, full of misunderstanding. So our problem is we don't talk to devotees. We talk about devotees to everyone else. We keep on talking about devotees like that. पता है क्या वो प्रभु जी? I told him so many times, he doesn't improve only. Like that. What is happening in his life? What happened? All gossiping, right? Sometimes. What happened with that devotee? What happened? These days, this Prajalpa is like such a horrible thing. Envious talk, this, that, and all. So as soon as somebody says to you, Prabhu, I'm telling you, you can say, Prabhu, wait, I will call that devotee. I'll call that devotee. Here, we can talk together. You're talking about him, no? Let's not talk about him when he is not here. Let's get him here. This will solve, I can tell you, 80% of the problems. Whenever somebody came at a certain point of time in the place that I stay also, wherever somebody came to me saying, I want to tell you about that devotee, I said, okay, let's call him immediately. Let's call him. Because as soon as you say, let's call that person, then he says, no, Prabhuji, it's okay. It's okay. Prabhuji, nothing serious, like that. It's all right. Or you can inspire people to talk to them directly. You have a problem, set it up. See, Vaishnavas are very refined people. Even in his heart, he may be feeling, "Arey, hamari relation theek nahi hai. I have to improve that." And as soon as you express, Prabhu, go and say, Prabhuji, I'm really sorry for whatever happened. He'll say, Arey, Prabhu, I am sorry actually. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Immediate. Whole air is, all that issue is gone. But if you keep it, talk to somebody else, then that fellow talks to his own, and then they go and spread around. And then you hear, what that Prabhuji said about you. He said this thing. How he said this thing. You never checked with him whether he said such a thing. So this has actually caused a lot of damage in devotee association. So it is said we don't talk about devotees, we talk to devotees. We go and talk to them. You want to glorify, you have some issue with someone, go and talk. Prabhu, I want to talk about this, because I don't want to offend you. So can we sit and talk about this? And then you can see that the whole thing may be done in a proper way, understandable way, this way. So especially envy amongst devotees and all, it should be dealt with in that particular manner by dealing with direct. If we can't directly talk to that devotee, take a senior devotee's help, one who is respected by both of you. Suppose you think I don't have courage to go and talk to that devotee directly. So we can take a devotee whom he respects, I also respect, and then he can become a mediator. And then both of us will listen to him, right? That is also another way. No, this way. But I'm telling you, in general, no, if we remain uh, if we remain enthusiastic, eager to truly become friends with devotees, then this envy thing will go away. The antidote of envy is appreciation and making friendship. If we feel though envious about somebody, what is the solution? Solution is take it as a bitter pill, but appreciate that devotee. देखो ये काम करेगा. You initially may have to do as an austerity. Like I remember when I was joining in ashram, there was one devotee who was good in me in every aspect, slightly better than me. I used to play good mridanga, so he used to play better mridanga than me, slightly better. I was studying Shastras very deeply. He was slightly better than me in everything. So I used to feel like wherever he comes, I used to feel like, no, this person will steal the show, like that, this way. And then I went to my counselor and I said, I get very disturbed with him because, whatever I do, he's better at it, like that. And my counselor gave very amazing advice. He said, why don't you become friend with him? He said, because you have so many common traits. If you become friend with him, he will become one of the best friends of you. Because you have so many common sajatiya, this thing. And I never thought like this, like that. And then I only from my side took initiative and then I went and appreciate. I said, Prabhu, you are just so good in everything. Whatever I see. And he said, no, Prabhu, actually you are better. I am not good. And then I can tell you that person became one of the best friends in ashram for me. Over a period of so many years, we would sit and discuss, we would sit in kirtans and play, and like became a very genuine friend actually. He would appreciate so many things in me, I would appreciate so many things in him and all that. So I remembered that advice of counselor so much. Why don't you become a friend with him instead of competing and all that friendship this way? So amongst Vaishnavas, that's the nature. Devotees, Maitri. They become friends, they appreciate each other and all. If we need to seek help, as I said, you seek the help from a senior whom we both accept and we have confidence in, and then there will be resolving the aspect. So it was an important question. So I tried to address that. All right. So that's a Madhyam Adhikari, important one. And finally, Uttam Adhikari. Please read Uttam Adhikari.
About the Madhyam Adhikari is the Uttam Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and theist, but sees everyone as a part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. Although they are engaged in different bodies on account of the different qualities of their activities in their previous lives.
Yeah. So the last one is Uttam Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. So actually, such a great devotee, he practically sees everyone as servant of the Supreme Lord. He just perceives the presence of Paramatma everywhere. And for such a person, there is no question of any envy, anything, any discrimination also for that matter. He doesn't discriminate also. For him, it's like everywhere he sees them as potential servants of the Supreme Lord, like that. So that's quite an exalted platform. For us, Madhyam Adhikari as a sadhaka is the best platform to behave. And at the level of Madhyam Adhikari, does he see everyone as spirit soul or not? Madhyamadhikari? What do you say?
Yes.
Huh? The Uttamadhikari does see everyone as in connection to Supreme Lord. But what about Madhyamadhikari? He also sees, yes. So Madhyamadhikari is the platform where one sees everything in connection to the Supreme Lord. One sees everyone as spirit, soul, and servant of Krishna. But he does discriminate. Because of his certain stature in bhakti, because of his limited power of knowledge and all that, he does discriminate. So this is the difference between two categories. Otherwise, both are clear with aspect that everyone is servant of Krishna, everything should be in connection with Krishna. But one is on that level where one just sees completely Krishna conscious whole world. That's his level of bhakti and like that. But for Madhyamadhikari, he is the practical one who is acting at that level. So the preachers of Krishna consciousness, they will be on which platform? Uttamadhikari or Madhyamadhikari? Madhyamadhikari. As a preacher, you have to be on Madhyamadhikari platform, right? Uttamadhikari sees everyone equally. So what will he do? Preaching. But Madhyamadhikari discriminates. Okay, here is innocent person, here is envious person. Stays away from envious people, upeksha. But for the innocent person, he is very eager to give his mercy. So that's what a preacher is. So Madhyamadhikari is the one actually who is the cause of bhakti, literally, because he is the one who preaches, he is the one who connects people in Krishna consciousness. Yes, Prabhu.
So in this case, Uttamadhikari, do they come down to Madhyamadhikari's level?
Yeah.
And they also do preaching.
Exactly. So is there any chance that Uttamadhikari can do preaching? Yes. So Uttamadhikari can do preaching, but as soon as they have to do preaching, means they have to discriminate, right? This is not a devotee, this is a devotee, this is ignorant person. So then if they are doing that discrimination, they are on which platform? Uttama or Madhyama? Madhyamadhikari. So this is how. So somebody like Srila Prabhupada, he is a Uttamadhikari Vaishnava, but he comes down at the level of Madhyamadhikari so that he can do the preaching. So very important point that he brought up, that yes, Uttamadhikaris also preach in this world, but when they are preaching, they are acting on the platform of Madhyamadhikari. That's the point. All right. So these are the three adhikaris, and one should follow. Anupashyati, that's the word. So Prabhupada speaks with this, and then this verse ends. Yes, please read this. It is.
It's clearly mentioned in the sixth mantra that one should observe our systematically. See, this means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the prophetic teacher. Shastri is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. A new means to follow, and specialty means to observe. Thus, the word specialty means that one should not be things as he does with with eyes, but should follow the previous acharyas. Due to practical defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has part from the soul, and the higher source is the Vedic wisdom which is spoken by the Lord himself.
Yes. So finally, Prabhupada says Anupashyati. See, this is from the verse, right? Atmani eva anupashyati, one who sees like this. So, but the word that is used is Anupashyati. So Anu means what in general?
Small.
Hmm?
Insignificant.
That is Anu. This is Anu. Anu and Anu. That's the difference. So this is Anu. So Anu means in following. Anu means in following, or Anu also means constantly. These two meanings are there. Anushilanam, meaning constantly doing something. Or Anushilanam can also mean following like the previous acharyas. So here it is Prabhupada is telling finally that in order to develop this consciousness like a Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari, so one should follow the previous acharyas. That is the Anupashyati aspect. Following, Anu means to follow and Pashyati means to observe. So one should follow the previous acharyas, one should follow the previous Vaishnavas, right? Whenever we want to understand our acharya's mood, we should follow the previous acharyas, Prabhupada. So this is why it's important to read the life of our acharyas. We should read Lilamrit. We should read Prabhupada Lilamrit, or we should read other biographies of Prabhupada, because we have to know the mood of our acharya. What does our acharya want us to do, right? Like Prabhupada has a specific mood in his preaching. Although we all belong to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but still within that Prabhupada has a very specific mood, unique mood, right? What are unique features of Prabhupada's mood? You can tell some features. What is uniqueness in Prabhupada's preaching? Prabhupada always thought bigger. In Krishna's service, let's accomplish bigger. Prabhupada would say, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Like that. Yes.
He has used everybody in Krishna's service.
Yeah, using everything, everybody in Krishna's service, Yukta Vairagya aspect. Not that, okay, only this section would be, not only that section, men, women, children, old men, Brahmanas, whoever, n number of people, anybody can be used in Krishna's service. So that's a very unique feature, right? There are some sects who follow bhakti, but they say only Brahmanas can do bhakti. Nobody else can. Others cannot do. So those sort of ideas are there. Yes.
Prabhupada proposed as it is.
Yeah.
From the scriptures as it is in the
Exactly. Prabhupada will not add anything or subtract anything, right? He said Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not Bhagavad Gita as I want it to be. Prabhupada said Bhagavad Gita as it is. As Krishna is saying, Prabhupada is explaining that much. So Krishna says, surrender unto me. Prabhupada says, we should say, surrender unto Krishna. Not that Krishna says, surrender unto me, and the Guru says, surrender unto me. Like that. Or surrender unto somebody within Krishna, or like some other sort of meaning. So Prabhupada is very emphatic on what is the Shastra saying. You follow that as it is. What more? What is special feature of Prabhupada's preaching?
Krishna is special. Every
Yeah. Yeah.
connect from
Yeah.
Krishna.
Yes. Prabhupada said our religion is kitchen religion. Initial days, there was one disciple of Prabhupada, Kirtanananda. So Prabhupada would call Kirtanand Maharaj, Kirtanand Swami as Kitchenananda, because he was a very good cook. He would make first class, prasadam. So Prabhupada said, here is Kitchenananda. So they would, Maharaj, Prabhupada Kirtananda, that is Kitchenananda. He said like that. So Prabhupada said, ours is a kitchen religion. Wherever we go, first thing we do is prasad ka kya vyavastha hai? Let's make huge prasad. So he stressed that. Actually. Prabhupada ka, favorite was kachori, but he was very happy feeding gulab jamuns to others. So hippiyon ka favorite gulab jamun tha. ISKCON bullet. Well, that's good. ISKCON bullet. Prabhupada would call it ISKCON bullet. Like that. Yes, last one.
Prabhupada is very bold in his
Bhagwan? Okay. Yes, Prabhupada stressed the holy name very much within his bhakti. Even amongst all the 9 processes, Prabhupada stressed the chanting of holy names. There he spoke about that. Everyone engaging. All right, we will go ahead.
He follows the instruction of that. Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, his complete faith in his Guru Maharaj's instructions. So many features actually. Prabhupada was against atheistic science. Prabhupada was very much against impersonalism. Prabhupada focused on Yukta Vairagya principle. Uh, Prabhupada was not too much for bombastic philosophy and all. Prabhupada was on practice something, Instead of speaking big things, practice something. One man came to Prabhupada and said, Maharaj, Prabhupada, I can recite whole Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes. Like that. 45 minutes I can recite. Prabhupada said, can you live Bhagavad Gita for 45 seconds? Can you live Bhagavad Gita for 45 seconds? He said, that is more important than being able to recite in 45 minutes. So Prabhupada always spoke on this aspect of leading. If you can lead bhakti nicely and at the same time you are studying Shastra, that is very nice. But not just studying, but no practice. It is useless. So these are his things. So that's how basically he's saying that we follow the mood of Acharya, and accordingly, if we understand the scriptural wisdom, then we'll be able to develop this consciousness. So this is how he is ending with that. According to Bhagavad Gita, only one who is already on the liberated platform can become an Uttamadhikari devotee and see every living being as his own brother. See, typically, Kanishta Adhikaris are the ones who are on the level of Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha. Madhyam Adhikaris are on the level of typically from Nishtha to Bhava. That is Madhyam Adhikari. And Uttam Adhikari is on the level of Prema, the highest. That's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these categories like that. So that's how. So basically the verse is talking about seeing that equal vision, that oneness by connecting everything to Krishna. You are seeing by connecting everything to Krishna like that. So one time Prabhupada was in, I think, Kolkata, and they said that, Swamiji, see, there was somebody who was speaking Mayavad, and Prabhupada got angry. So then Prabhupada started chastising him right in the Bandhari. So then they said, Swamiji, you should have equal vision. Have equal vision. Be equal to everyone like that. So Prabhupada became very angry, all the more, that he is telling him to have equal vision like that. So Prabhupada said, you call a thief and a police. That is called equal vision. If you are a thief and you are calling everybody, thief is also police and that is also police. Is that equal vision? No. So Prabhupada said, you call a thief and a police. Prabhupada said, actually, I have truly equal vision. Why? Because he said, I have preached without stopping anybody. I have preached basically to each and everyone. I have not stopped anybody from becoming devotee. Mlechas can come, Yavanas can come, everybody can come. That is equal vision. It's not that anything can go on and you say it's fine, it is nice. Yatomat tatopat. All paths lead to same goal. One time they said to Prabhupada, all paths lead to same goal, right? This idea is very prominent in India. Yatomat tatopat. Jo bhi kuch karo, you will attain moksha. Is that true?
No.
Does Krishna say that in Bhagavad Gita? He says, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Those who worship Devtas will go to Devtas. Those who worship Pitras will go to Pitras. Those who worship devotees or Supreme Lord, they will go to Supreme Lord. So it's not that you do anything and you attain moksha like that. So all paths don't lead to same goal. Or Prabhupada said, all paths lead to same goal in Kali Yuga. And then they were saying, how? Prabhupada said, yes, all paths in Kali Yuga lead to same goal, hell. Hell is that goal. Because all are concocted paths. He said that. Sare ke sare. So that's how he spoke about that aspect. So oneness. this vision of oneness, Mahabhagavata's vision, where one sees in connection to Krishna, everything in connection to Krishna. So this vision is there in Uttamadhikari, this vision is there in Madhyamadhikari. These are the platforms. Kanishta is yet to develop that vision like that. So that's what is this verse saying. And then next verse is just extension of this. So should I give a break, Prabhu, or I should just finish this off now? Till what time we can go today? We started at 6:30, 6:45 around. Huh? No. Today we want to go till 9th verse. So it will need about 45 minutes at least. We can do. So then maybe they can take a break. 3-4 minutes break. Take a break for 3-4 minutes. We will end at 9 o'clock. Because this mantra 7 is now very quick. 6 is over, so 7. 8th one will take little time. 6, 7, 8. That's our purpose today. Tomorrow we'll finish the rest. Shnath, take this. Hare Krishna. All right, Hare Krishna. Yes. It's not good. Yeah. After going, yeah, I'll change it. Okay. Yeah, it keeps on giving trouble. Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Mantra 7. Let's go. All right, recite together. You can see here. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutvijanatah tatra ko moghah ka shoka ekatvam anupashyata. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutvijanatah tatra ko moghah shoka ekatvam anupashyatah. All right. Yes. Please read.
One who always sees all and spiritual path. In quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him?
Yeah. So for such a person who in this way sees everything in connection with the Supreme Lord, for such a person, what will be the shoka or moha? So it is mentioned that such a person will never have any lamentation, will have never any illusion or anxiety or like that. So this is going together from that last verse, Mahabhagavata's vision only. It is mentioned here that how such a devotee will be free from all illusion and anxiety this way. So you see, Prabhupada, he speaks about various themes. See, Prabhupada has written long purports actually. Prabhupada has this style also where he keeps on repeating concepts because he knows that we may not understand or remember by once reading. So he keeps on repeating. So sometimes we may feel also that we already discussed this thing. Prabhupada is again speaking it. So we can understand it is more for emphasis, and he is also out of compassion, he keeps speaking. Like this topic, oneness between energy and energetic is discussed actually. Already we have discussed this in inconceivability. So we'll go quickly through this purport. There is a few points only to discuss here, like that. Okay, so you see, oneness between energy and energetic. We talked about this fire, sun, fire, and heat. Oneness is in quality, not in quantity. Just as drop and ocean, that oneness in interest brings enjoyment. So oneness between a devotee and Supreme Lord, it's not absolute oneness, it is oneness of interest. The devotee and Supreme Lord, they both have the same interest, that is the pleasure of the Lord. Separate interest is what causes shoka and moha. That is lamentation and illusion. And that's why finally become one in interest with God. See, the gist of this entire mentality where we are talking about oneness, ekatvam anupashyataha, or last verse spoke, the gist of this whole thing is see everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. See everything as his energy and for his purpose. See, even the part and parcel word Prabhupada uses, you have thought of this word part and parcel. Part and parcel. Jiva is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. What does that mean? He is part and he is also parcel. So Ansha aspect is covered in part. What about parcel? Exactly. So when I say this is your parcel, what does that mean? The parcel belongs to you. So I can't say that this is your parcel and then to open it and start using it. That is your parcel or my parcel. Parcel means something which belongs to that person. It is under his ownership. So similarly, part shows the aspect of just amsha. We are amsha of the Lord. But parcel shows that we are meant for his service. We are meant for his service. We belong to him that way. So that's why Prabhupada used that word very interestingly, part and parcel. Prabhupada has his unique usage actually sometimes of word. Supreme personality of Godhead. It has a, Tamal Krishna Maharaj has done PhD on that word. His PhD thesis on this word, Supreme Personality of Godhead. What all, he got a PhD from Oxford on this phrase, Supreme Personality of Godhead. You can say. So it's like such a loaded word. Prabhupada has a very unique usage. Devotional service. Have you seen any better translation of word bhakti? I mean, never in my life. Like basically, as a Sanskrit student, I could appreciate that so much because in bhakti, there is a dhatu called bhaj, bhaj dhatu. And bhaj, Panini has defined bhaj as sevayam, to serve. So Panini says bhaj means to serve, and that same dhatu is there in bhakti. And when I read that devotional service, it just struck. Oh, this is Sanskrit wise the most precise translation. Service aspect. Otherwise,
Bhaja means what?
bhaja means to serve. To serve. That's the meaning. So otherwise, you have seen different devotion, devotional sentiment. These are the translations of bhakti in outside world. Worshipping, devotional sentiment and such word. Proper devotional service. So that as soon as you hear it, you know that devotion is not something just in the heart. Just it is practical service. It is right. Otherwise, people say that Swamiji, bhakti bahut. It's there. Why don't you come to temple? नहीं, हृदय में नाम क्यों नहीं जपते? 24 घंटा चलता है अंदर. Right. 24 घंटा नाम चलता है. हाँ, बस भगवान का नहीं है, वो पैसे का नाम. Continuous, right? So people, but they talk like this. They talk like this. अरे स्वामी जी, भजन तो अंदर चलता रहता है एकदम इसमें. कभी थोड़ा बाहर भी आने दो. कभी तो. So Prabhupada was very practical. He gave very nice. So that's how. So let's see. Right. So initially Prabhupada speaks about oneness between Lord and energy and energetic. So we have seen this idea very clearly. Sun, heat and light, this way. So since there is no difference between energy and energetic, there is sense of oneness. Like fire without heat and light. Is there any meaning to that? So fire and heat and light, they're inseparable. And remember Prabhupada's examples, they're very good examples. Sun and sunlight, fire and heat and light. I have seen that when you give this example outside, people immediately get convinced. They like Prabhupada's examples are very powerful. Immediately people understand, oh, okay, this is the point. Like that. I have seen sometimes, we try to give our own complicated examples, it doesn't work. But you tell something, Prabhupada's example, and people immediately get that. What is he saying? So Prabhupada gives these examples. Salt, like ocean and drop of ocean, fire and heat and light, sun and sun rays. All these are examples for the aspect of energy and energetic. Bhagavan and his energies, like that, in this manner. Yes. Further, you see, here he is quoting these examples also. The individual sparks of the Supreme Whole possess almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not quantitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. Qualitative, quantitative. So how many qualities are there in Krishna? Krishna has unlimited qualities, but which are the prominent ones?
64.
So these qualities also you should remember. Rupa Goswami has done this analysis. So Krishna has how many qualities?
64.
Only 64?
No, unlimited.
Unlimited. Krishna has how many? The chief or important qualities? 64. Otherwise he has unlimited qualities. How many energies he has?
3. Unlimited.
3. Unlimited energies. But they are broadly categorized into unlimited energies, unlimited qualities. Krishna has how many incarnations? Unlimited incarnations. Which are the primary ones?
22.
22, 24, 10, depends on how you are counting. But unlimited. Sab idhar unlimited hai. There is nothing limited here. Everything unlimited. So Krishna has 64 qualities, which are main qualities, you could say, main qualities, 64. Okay. Then what about Vishnu? Bhagwan Vishnu. How many qualities?
60.
How many say 64? I heard 64. No? How many said 50? How much is Vishnu? Vishnu has 60 qualities in Vishnu. Okay, good. So Krishna has 64 qualities in full, complete proportion. Vishnu has 60 qualities in full proportion. Now when it comes to Lord Shiva,
55.
How many qualities does Lord Shiva have?
55.
55. And these are certainly not as full as Supreme Lord, but they are certainly not like living entities also. So these are intermediate level of qualities. Intermediate because Krishna's qualities they are said to be full here. So Shiva 55. And then there is Brahma
50.
as well as all other living entities. Kitni qualities? 50. So then what is difference between Brahma's 50 qualities and our 50 qualities, meaning Jiva's? A living entity has how many qualities? 50. Brahma has 50. What's the difference?
They are both
Level
complete
of
there.
Brahma's qualities are higher level.
Yeah. So when it comes to Brahma's 50 qualities, no, for Jiva, for a living entity, whatever is supposed to be the maximum proportion, he possesses it. For the category of Jiva, those 50 qualities, whatever is maximum proportion, he possesses it. But with the other living entities, it's not like that. They possess partial fraction of that potency also, meaning they already have less qualities, which is 50, and those 50 also they have fractional portion. Like that. That's the difference. So you have to, I mean, one can remember this like that. So,
So, can you explain the difference between the two of them?
which one?
Like of Brahma and living entity.
See, Brahma and living entity, I was saying, Brahma manifests those 50 qualities in full. At the level of living entity, whatever is full manifestation, that is manifested in Brahma. But then the living entities, they don't manifest it in full. Like if you have 100 wattage, suppose, 50 bulbs of 100 wattage. So Brahma manifests full wattage, 100 wattage. But when it comes to living entity, they manifest only 60 or 50. Although they also have all those 50 bulbs with them this way. So that's the difference. Otherwise, rest of them, they manifest full manifestation of those particular qualities like that. Okay. So, yes. So, if you see, therefore, Ekatvam does not mean that a living being is equal to Supreme Lord in all respects. It does, however, indicate in a broader sense that there is one interest. So, this is the whole point of this discussion actually, that oneness or connection with the Lord is of the interest. We understand that this is Lord's desire, and Jiva or the Bhakta also has the same desire to please the Supreme Lord. Just as Prabhupada says, in a family, the interest may be one, or in a nation, the interest may be one, in this way, like that. Oneness is not like how Mayavadis think that everything is one, or like that. No. Oneness is in terms of interest, this way, like that. So, when we talk about this knowledge of oneness, no? See, knowledge of oneness and knowledge of difference. We are simultaneously one and different from Supreme Lord, right? Why is knowledge of oneness important and why knowledge of difference is important? Can someone tell? Oneness क्यों important है जानना, that we are one with the Supreme Lord? And why it is important that we should also know that we are different from the Supreme Lord? Yes, Prabhu.
So that we can, to avoid ourselves to have a concept of Mayavadi. Better to have.
So what, difference or oneness? Now you're talking about which
Oneness.
aspect? Oneness? Yeah. So Mayavadis also say that we are one with the Supreme. Correct.
In order for us to clarify ourselves that we are one, but we are different.
Yeah.
That becomes very transparent and that makes our concept more clear.
Correct. So are you saying that, so that's why we talk about difference, because I'm saying two aspects. We are one and we are different also.
Yeah.
So as far as talking about oneness is concerned, we and Mayavadis both are in the same category. They also talk about oneness, we also talk about oneness. What is unique is we also talk about difference, like that. So literally what distinguishes us from Mayavadis is that difference aspect. Like that. You got it?
Yes.
So then in that case, what you are saying is
Yes,
right.
that's what I mean.
Yes. But what do we talk about oneness also? Oneness की बात करने का फायदा क्या है? Why should we, as a living entity, talk about that actually you are one with the Supreme? इससे क्या फायदा होता है?
We have to go back to God here.
Very nice. See, if you don't talk about oneness with the Supreme Lord, then you will feel like this is the place to stay. Huh? So, in order to show that your nature is not this world, in order to show that actually you should be aspiring for spiritual world, you should develop detachment from this world. Uh, that is why you have to talk about oneness. But if you just speak about oneness, then like a Mayavadi, one will think that I am only the Lord. So then you have to talk about difference also this way, right? So this is very, very important. That's why both the aspects are spoken, oneness and difference, both the aspects. If we don't talk that our nature is not mundane, but we are also of transcendental nature, then naturally person will ask, so if I have transcendental nature, so what is my destination? No, isn't it? This way. So इसलिए एक बहुत बड़ी बात है, whenever Prabhupada spoke, no, Prabhupada just did not say you are spirit soul. He added one very important statement with that. What was that statement? Whenever he said you are spirit soul, he also added something. That is all same. Huh? He just didn't say that you are the spirit soul. He also said something. You are not the body, Haribol. Yes, that's right, Mataji. Whenever Prabhupada said, na, you are the spirit soul. देखो, you are the spirit soul बोलने वाले बहुत लोग थे. Even before also, aham brahmasmi, मैं आत्मा हूँ. लेकिन Prabhupada added the second line, you are not the spirit, I mean, you are the spirit soul, but you are not the body. So you are not the body means don't give too much attention to the body. So now chant Hare Krishna, eat prasad and all that. Otherwise, no, there are so many yogi gurus, they keep on speaking, you are spirit soul. और वो क्या करता है उठ के बॉडी देखता है कैसे यू आर स्पिरिट सोल ओके अच्छी बॉडी बना कोई तो बोले कि यू आर नॉट द बॉडी लाइक दैट so one of the scholars of Princeton, I think Princeton or whatever US University, he said that Swamiji was an amazing preacher. He said when he said that you are the spirit soul, he said he came up with this very important corollary in addition to that, that you are not the body. And he said that's why his followers immediately came to the transcendental level. They understood that, okay, we are not the body. So I have to do something for the soul. I can't be on the bodily platform this way. It's a very important thing. It may look like one may say it is redundant only, no? You're not spirit soul, you're not the body, Prabhu. ये तो same ही चीज हो गया नहीं same नहीं है. Listen until you tell people that basically you are not the body. Why? So you're not the body, so then they will not give up their absorption in the body. So because of that, people gave up the absorption in the body because Prabhupada was very clear on that this way. One time Prabhupada, when he was teaching initially, so people are so stooped in consciousness that we are body, that when Prabhupada said, see, I am not my body. So one hippie got up, raised his hand, got up and said, Swamiji, if I am not my body, then whose body I am? You understand? What is he saying? If I am not my body, then whose body I am? So much body. He is convinced that he is someone's body. If he is not his own body, then he is someone else's body. He is convinced. So Prabhupada said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You are not anyone's body. You are spirit soul. Like that. So he say, oh, it's like that. I thought I am somebody else's body only. Like that. So fully convinced that I am body in this way. So that's why you understand. That's why Prabhupada said, you are not the body. You are not the body. You are spirit soul. Spirit soul. In this way. So oneness aspect gives us detachment from the world. while difference aspect tells us that we are servants of the Lord, we are subordinate to the Lord. So both the aspects are needed. You have to see in this way. So Prabhupada speaks about these aspects. So oneness in quantity, quality, not quantity. Oneness in interest. Prabhupada spoke like a family or like that. Then he moves to finally separate interest causing shoka and moha. So please read this yellow.
A godless
Yeah.
civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as that sponsored by the modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed at any moment.
Yeah. So if one does not understand this aspect, then one sees that one experiences illusion, lamentation, right? See, if you are in darkness, no, there is fear. You have to remember this. Suppose all the lights go off and it becomes huge dark. Immediately people feel like, "Ooh," right? Full darkness. So in darkness, we are very fearful. Suppose you enter some room which is dark. So although there is nothing, you may imagine somebody sitting in the corner, right? Could better like that. So when you enter into a dark room, what is that you first start looking for?
Light.
Light. Clear a button. Pat. Light. Then all the fear is gone. So similarly, as long as we are in ignorance, no, if we don't know, I am spirit soul, I am not this body, there will be fear. There will be lamentation. Why? Because person doesn't have any understanding about oneself. So one feels like, oh, my body, I should protect. I don't know what will happen. Somebody will take this, that. Why is my body dwindling? Why is this happening? Why my resources being taken away? I am becoming diseased. I am becoming old. So if you are in darkness, if you don't know about the, like how people get into so much of anxiety and fear, right? Because of not knowing. But as a devotee, even if we also undergo the difficulties in life, but at least we are aware that actually I am spirit soul, I am servant of Krishna. So these things will come and go. These are the challenges I have to deal. But that lamentation or that so much of fear, that will not be there. So light means freedom from fear. Darkness means fear. So that's why Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena. So just as soon as we come in the room, we want to switch on the light so that we don't become fearful. Similarly, in any situation in life where we feel darkness, we feel anxiety, we feel lamentation, switch on the light. What is the light? Take Srila Prabhupada books and start reading it. That's the light. When you open the books and start reading, so then you will see that light will guide you this way. This is very important aspect. Otherwise, we see so much of lamentation. So bhakti's nature is like that. Shoka moha bhaya paya paha. Bhakti is that path which will actually take away all the shoka and moha and everything this way. So, Prabhupada is concluding this particular verse by saying, the results of our activities must be used to serve the interest of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest can we perceive the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned herein. Atma Bhuta interest means, being one with the same service, the desire of the Lord, or rather, this desire of service to the Lord. So having that same interest, in this way. So the whole purpose of this purport is actually to show that connection or oneness in the spirit. So Prabhupada says finally, as soon as one is fully cognizant of this transcendental position, he at once surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Being. But such a Mahatma or great soul is very rarely seen because such transcendental realization is achieved only after many, many births. So this understanding of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada finally says, it is also very rare thing. It is not that easy. A devotee is sudurlabha, isn't it? Krishna also says, Manushyanam sahastreshu paschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam paschin mam viti tatvata. So Ishopnishad is asking us to become that rare, person who has this understanding of oneness, who has this understanding of connection, seeing everything in connection to the Supreme Lord. That's actually the glory. That's the most wonderful thing. So for us, whole world is one or connected in that sense that it is for the service of Krishna. So that's basically the point of this verse. It is just extension of the prior verse. So that's all it is. Okay, so this is the last now, mantra 8. So let's see few qualities in this and then we'll stop. So this one has some irregular meter. It is called Vishama Vritta. So you can't sing it in a regular way, but you can just recite it like a prose. So together, or rather maybe you can repeat it. Saraparyagad Shukram Akayam Avranam Asnaviram Shuddham Apapaviddham Kaver Manishi Paribhu Swayambhur Yada Tathyotorthan Vyadadhat Shashvatibhya Samabhya. So you see this last line became so long, right? Typically, this one were okay, but the last one became so long because this is a uneven meter. It's uneven meter. So then you have to recite it like that. Okay. All right. Read the translation.
Such a person must actually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is an embodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veil, pure and uncontaminated. The self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial.
Yes. So that particular Mahabhagavata's vision, whom we discussed in last two verses, how does that Mahabhagavat describe the Supreme Lord? What qualities he sees in him? That's the topic of this verse, and this is ending this section, this particular section. How does Mahabhagavat describe a description of the Supreme Lord? What qualities does he see? We talked about his consciousness and everything. So what qualities does he see in the Supreme Lord? So they are spoken. So these are the qualities like Shukram. What does the word Shukram mean? The omnipotent. Akayam. He does not have kaya. Means what? He does not have body. But when we say he does not have body, then we understand it's like Devadatta. Right? Devadatta's exact. So he does not have material body. See, next word is also interesting. Asna Viram. See, if you say he does not have body, then what is the point in saying he does not have veins? Veins in the body. Body nahi hai to phir veins kyun hoge? Right? So that's why you understand how Ishopnishad speaking is. When a Mayavadi says that, okay, Lord does not have body, akayam, then why asnaviram, the next word, it becomes redundant, no? If you don't have body only, then why to say he does not have veins? So that's why acharyas tell that the word akayam has been used and then again specified asnaviram, meaning he has the material body, he has the body, but that body does not have veins. He has a transcendental body, but that body of Krishna, it does not have veins and arteries and what all is there in our body, right? Krishna's body, does it have arteries and veins and bones and all these things? Does it have? It doesn't have. Because the constitution of Krishna's body is what? Satchidananda. So then he doesn't have to have these things. So that is Asnaviram. It is free from veins or snayus or anything of that sort. Avranam, it is beyond reproach. It is faultless body. Shuddham, Supreme Lord is pure. Apapa Viddham, he can't be touched by the any sin or like that. So now these words, you see very nicely Prabhupada has explained them. We will see now all these different characteristics. You see how they are explained. So you see paragraph 1 and 2, they explain Akayam and Asnaviram. Paragraph 2 to 4, they explain Shukram. 5 to 6, fulfill of desires. Paragraph 7, Paribhu. Paragraph 8, Swayambhu. And then the last one or two, very beautiful, Shuddham and Apapa Viddham. So let's see this and we will end. So, Akayam, we talked about this. So you see, what does Prabhupada say? The anatomy of material body must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth. But the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins. That is why it is clearly stated here that he is unembodied. He does not have body like material people. Akayam, his body is transcendental. There is no difference between his body and his soul. Is there a difference between our body and soul? Is it there or not? Body is different. Soul is different. Subtle body is also different. So when we go back to the spiritual world, this material body, subtle body, we have to leave. And only the soul goes with transcendental body. But for Krishna, there is no difference like that. That in his body, there is soul, and then subtle body, and then cross body, nothing. It's all just one substance, just one thing. One substance called Satchidananda. That's Akayam, basically. Nor is he forced to accept body according to the laws of nature. And does Krishna take birth because of laws of nature? Why does he come then in this world? How does Krishna come in this world?
Out of his own choice.
Out of his own choice. Living entities take birth by karma. Krishna takes birth by his choice. That's the difference between living entities. They come by their karma, but Krishna, for him, he has his own choice. Okay. So that's the Akayam aspect. Then further, Shukram, and that is means omnipotent. So that Prabhupada talks about in the deity form again. So we have already discussed deity, right? How deity is omnipotent. We have seen this like that. Sometimes when we keep the offering plate in front of the Lord and take it away, people say that, Arey, Bhagwan ne to khaya hi nahi. How are you convinced that Lord has eaten? What will you answer? Yes, anyone?
You can eat through any of his senses. You can
Exactly. See, this is transcendental body. This is Shukram, omnipotence. He can do anything with his any of his senses. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. Can we do that? No. प्रसाद आ गया तो खाना नजर डाल दे हो गया सब like that. इसने कर भी दिया ऐसा तो बाद में बोलेगा अरे वो प्लेट लेके आ. Okay, like that. That's right. You can't do that. But Krishna can't do that. He can glance and impregnate material nature. Who can do that? Nobody can do that. Krishna can, see through his ears. He can, through his eyes, he can eat. He can do anything with any of his senses. But we can't do that, right? That is because we are not Shukram. Krishna is Shukram, omnipotent. This way. So that's the point. When we offer bhoga, Krishna sees through eyes and then he accepts it. That's it. And then if he eats it, then what will the bhakta eat? So he leaves it also, right? Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya. So he leaves, he takes it and he leaves it for devotees so that they can take the prasadam. So whole aspect of Archa Vigraha Prabhupada speaks for that Shukram. All right. That's all. Omnipotence he speaks in the context of deities. So let's move ahead. Here. Now, He speaks now in 6 and 7, fulfiller of desires. So you see, this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad uses the very appropriate word yatha tathyatah, indicating that the Lord rewards the living entities just in pursuance of their desires. So he is the one who desires, right? He is the one who rewards as per the desire. But that reward comes as per the karma of the living entity also. When Krishna rewards, does he reward only as per desire? आपकी जो इच्छा है वो दे दी भगवान ने, ऐसा होता है? He not only sees desire, but he sees one more factor. What is that?
Karma.
Karma. So you have to desire and deserve both the aspect. If you only desire, but if you don't deserve, will Krishna give? He will not give. You have to have both the aspects. So if there is, so with everyone, Krishna basically sees whether such a person, he has the necessary karma, like that. So Krishna, only if he desires, things can happen. Otherwise, Prahlad Maharaj says, the parents may be there, but they can't protect the child. The doctor may be there, but he can't protect the patient. And the ship may be there, but it can't protect the traveler. And it happens all the time, right? I remember one long back case, Ganga Sagar. One family was going in Ganga Sagar, and that particular time of the year, Ganga Sagar has so much of rocks. So one child was playing in the water. There was this boat, and he was sitting in the boat. He was splashing the water, and then a croc caught the child. This was a true story that happened. And parents and all, in front of them, the croc took away the child. And they could not protect. Because if they jump, or if they do too much of the action there, then this person said, who was the boat driver, he said, everybody will fall. All of us will die. So, you have a choice. Either you save everyone's life, or you try to save that child. What do you choose? And that case became a very popular case. There the parents had to leave the child. So this is what Prahlad says. Parents may be there, but it's not necessary that they can protect the child. Unless and until they have Lord's mercy, it's impossible. There may be doctors, but sometimes we see with the best of the doctors. In Maharashtra, there was a big cardiologist, Dr. Nitu Manke, and he died of heart attack. He died of heart attack. So sad. He was the best cardiologist in entire India. But when he got heart attack, there was nobody to save. There was only one doctor who could save him, and that doctor was 1,000 kilometers apart. He could not come. So this person, he left his body. So you see, this is how actually, without Lord's sanction in this world, nothing can happen. One may just have ability, they may try, but unless until Lord sanctions, even for an outsider, even for a karmi, unless Lord sanctions, no, things won't happen. His sanctioning will depend on their karma and all that, but point is, without his sanction, nothing can happen. You may have ability, you may have greatest resources, still you will not be able to help people. This is the thing. So he is the one, that's why. Finally, Paribhu, he is the greatest of all. So Paribhu shows his aspect of, he is the one whom everybody approaches for fulfillment of desires, like that. Without Krishna's desire, but then who can do? Dronacharya, after Bhishma, Dronacharya became the commander-in-chief. I'm just ending, finished now. Commander-in-chief. And then, Bhishma fell, so Duryodhana had become very angry that Bhishma, he got defeated, or rather he fell. So he said to Dronacharya, you have to promise me that within 2 days you capture this Yudhishthir. What I'll do, I'll capture him and I will challenge him for another dice game. Bolunga, chal, Dyut khelenge. And I will challenge him, and then I will defeat him in Dyuta and send again for 25 years. This forest, staying in the forest. So he said, you should capture Dronacharya. You don't fight wholehearted. I'm seeing that you are not fighting wholeheartedly. So like this, if you say to your teacher, So he said, okay, next 2 days I will capture. So next 2 days he fought like anything, but still he could not capture, he could not capture Yudhishthir, he could not capture any of the Pandavas like that. So Duryodhana said, what's going on? Acharya, you are not able to perform. So he said, see, Duryodhana, we can only try. We can only try. Everything depends on destiny. And the master of that destiny is sitting on that Arjuna chariot. So what can be done? He said, I am only trying. He said, the master is sitting there of that destiny. So we can only try. So they knew about Krishna's position actually this way. So, and finally comes Shuddham and Apapa Vidham. So these two terms are very important. See, Krishna's nature is Shuddham. So Prabhupada has used very beautiful words. Remember these two words, antiseptic, prophylactic. These are very popular terms that Prabhupada has used. Lord is antiseptic and Lord is prophylactic. तो आप बोलोगे ये क्या है एंटीसेप्टिक एंटीसेप्टिक क्रीम सुना था Lord is antiseptic and Lord is prophylactic. So you have heard these are medical terms. So antiseptic means that whatever contamination is there in our heart, when we come in bhakti, you see these two terms I am saying. To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated, Sri Shopnishad describes him as Shuddham, antiseptic, and Apapavidham, prophylactic. So Krishna's nature is, he is antiseptic. What does it mean? If we have impurity, if we come in touch with Krishna, that impurity will be cured. And prophylactic means we will become immune to further contamination. We will become immune to further, further degradation or further contamination, further getting contaminated. So that is these two characteristics. Whatever is the disease, that will go away and no new disease will come. This is Krishna's nature. This is Bhakti's nature. So if we are having problem of lust, it will go away. If we are having problem of pride, it will go away and it will make us immune to further contamination. That is antiseptic and that is prophylactic. So all these wonderful qualities, they are in with Krishna, and that's how the devotees describe him. Shri Shopnishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Okay, please.
Repeat it. Yes.
Okay. Prophylactic. See, what is prophylactic? You see the literal meaning of the word prophylactic means that which prevents disease. One is preventive and another is curative. So there are two kinds of treatment. Doctors know that. Curative treatment and preventive treatment. So curative is when you have some disease or something, infection, and then you give it so that the disease infection will go away. That is curative. And preventive is, you give something in such a way that the disease won't attack only. A disease won't come to you. COVID vaccine. Yeah, exactly. COVID vaccine. So same way, when we come to Krishna consciousness, whatever is our existing contamination, Krishna starts curing that. And then if we are sincere in practice of bhakti, he starts making us immune to the new contamination. It's like in my childhood, I used to see that Chawanprash ad, Dabur Chawanprash. That guy, the boy eats Dabur Chawanprash, and then he's in the class and some next boy in the class, like that. And then this boy, green aura comes from all his body like that. And he says, Dabur Chawanprash, aapki raksha kare har din. Like that. So, Krishna Bhakti is like that. Whatever is our disease, that will go away. And when somebody, then Krishna Bhakti, jo aapki raksha kare har din, har janam, like that. So that's Krishna Bhakti, like that. Okay. So that's prophylactic. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. No. 7, 8. I had planned till 8 only. 9, 10, 11 are similar. And 12, 13, 14 are similar. So they go in couplets. Yeah, 3 hours, that's why. In 2.5 hours, I will finish these two because they're very similar in pattern. Yeah.
प्रश्न है
We will start